April 26th, 2010, that's the day that we adopted Natalia. By the time we get to the end of 2012, we've been living with a sociopath trying to kill us every day. We don't know who she is. We don't know how old she is. She won't admit who she is. She won't tell us the truth of who she is. Doctors have told us she's nowhere near the age you were told. And we've actually filed our motion in Marion County Court for her case to be heard, to have her age corrected to something more appropriate.
The judge had a petition prepared by an attorney that would lay out the arguments for why this person is not they believe she is actually an adult. Nobody knows quite what age, but she has not grown in 4 years. So the judge came up with his own little formula. Well, you stop growing at 18. If she hasn't grown in 4 years, then she's at least 18 when she entered their lives, and I'm going to add 4 years. He said, okay, I find you 22.
At the time that she was re-aged, I knew she was adult. Did I know it was 18, 22, 35, 150? No.
Re-aging is not unusual. It does happen in international adoptions. A couple years might be shaved off the age of the child because it's more attractive to adoptive families the younger the child is. At least that's the belief. So, I can buy a couple of years, right? Like she's not really 8, she's 10 or 11 or something. But to jump 14 years to 22, it doesn't make sense.
At the time of the re-aging, there was good, solid documentation of an approximate age. And she had a primary care physician that looked at all of it and also provided evidence. So that doctor was looking at lots of other doctors' information and coming up with a determination. And then at that point, when it's such a huge amount of years, you just have to say what makes the most sense based upon the evidence and the professionals, what they think, and that it's in the best interest of the child to change their age. You know, I'm not the doctor and I'm not the judge, but I felt like it was based on something credible.
They give her a new birth certificate with a new birth date. They gave her a new Indiana ID. She has, everything changes from a year of birth of 2003. Back it up 14 years to 1989.
While I was at the hospital, they signed paperwork and got me re-aged. So
can you tell me about that?
I don't even know what to say about it because I don't know what happened.
Yeah, just kind of tell me what you know.
I just know that I had got out of the hospital and she got me an apartment.
Barnetts were very concerned about having her back in their home.
But Christine wants to make sure she's got a good place to live. So Christine and her go out the next day and they find her an apartment in Westfield. Westfield, Indiana is in Hamilton County, Indiana. Hamilton County, Indiana is the richest part of the state. It's a single floor apartment complex. She's got a living room. She's got a dining room. She's got a little eating kitchen. She's got a bathroom, and she's got a bedroom. Christine and Natalia signed the lease. They paid the first 3 months up front. Moving day into Natalia's apartment, and I know we gave Natalia some furniture out of our home. We got groceries for her, and it was just it's pretty basic stuff. There's not a lot of tale to tell there.
I think that Christine didn't know what to do with Natalia. So why not put her in an apartment and say she's 22?
I'm Sue McCollum, and I was a neighbor to Natalia when we lived in the Westfield apartments. Okay, now what? I just met her by accident one day I see her mom sitting out all her grocery sacks on the sidewalk, and I thought her back was to me, and I thought, my gosh, that poor little girl carrying those groceries in. So I went up there. I was going to the mailbox, and I said, well, honey, do you need some help? And I said, where's your mom? And she turned around and she said, I'm 22. I expected her to have, young, but she's not. She was an adult. You could tell by looking at her. And, well, her mom had a Cadillac, and she was sitting in her Cadillac while I was helping her carry the groceries in because she just left them on the sidewalk and left them, just sit there and watched us carry it in. And she didn't even roll down the window and say, thanks for helping her, or nothing. She just sat there and looked and then took off. I thought it was rude because Natalia couldn't hardly open the darn front door, work the key and get in. So I took him in and carried him into the kitchen for it. And so, I took her to the grocery store a couple times, and she was also on food stamps. She had a food stamp card when I take her to the grocery store. And I thought, well, if you can drive a Cadillac, why can't you take better care of her?
My name is Melanie. My husband and I were both Natalia's neighbors in Westfield, Indiana.
The first time I met Natalia, I think it was just my wife and I were planting some flowers. She just came running across the street, and I remember my wife and I looking at each other and just being like, what's going on here?
And at first it stressed me out because I thought she was just a little kid crossing the street. And then she came over and started talking to us, and definitely wasn't a child. It was super nice, expressed herself well, and just was being friendly with us.
She introduces herself, sits right down, starts up a conversation like we've been friends for years. So, and that didn't bother me at the time.